A new solar system that could support alien life on multiple planets discovered, according to NASA. Scientists have found a new solar system called TRAPPIST-1. It's filled with planets that look like our Earth, and they believe it could support life, according to an announcement by NASA. At least 3 of the 7 planets represent, quote, the holy grail for planet hunting astronomers, end quote, because they sit within the temperate zone and are the right temperature to allow alien life to flourish. This is what the researchers said, and they are capable of having oceans, and again suggesting that life could flourish on these planets. No other star system has ever been found to contain so many Earth-sized and rocky planets of the kind thought to be necessary to contain alien life. The researchers might soon be able to find evidence of life on the planets, they have said, and British astronomer Dr. Chris Copperwheat from Liverpool John Moores University, who was part of the international team, says the discovery of multiple rocky planets with surface temperatures which allow for liquid water make this amazing system an exciting future target in the search for life, he said. The evidence of life is likely to be strong, very strong or conclusive, the scientist said, and it will be done by looking for what molecules are in the atmosphere. If they were to find things like oxygen and in the right amounts, then it would probably indicate that there was biological activity. Co-researcher Dr. Amaury Triod of the Institute of Astronomy in Cambridge said, we hope we will know if there's life there within the next decade. Even if life is not ever found near TRAPPIST-1, it might eventually develop there. The star is relatively young, even when our own sun has run out of fuel and our solar system is destroyed. The newly discovered one will still be in its early infancy, they believe. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. Now, our sun is in the middle of its age, and it has another about 5 billion years, and after that it'll start expanding, and that will be bad news because it will start heating up the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Then we have here, as we can see, the asteroid belt and the gas giants. So obviously it's a feasible thing to do, practical thing to do, to find something else that could support life. Now, TRAPPIST-1 burns hydrogen so slowly that it will live for another 10 trillion years, they said, more than 700 times longer than the universe has existed so far, which is arguably enough time for life to evolve. This is what Ignace A.G. Snellen wrote from the Leiden Observatory in an accompanying article about this discovery. All of the planets were found using a method called transit photometry, and that works by watching out for when a planet passes or transits in front of its host star, blocking out a small amount of light, allowing us to see the planet and learn about its size. Scientists first found the TRAPPIST star 1 in 2010 after monitoring the smallest stars close to the sun, and since then they've been watching out for most transits, and after seeing 34 of them clearly, they propose that they can be attributed to the 7 new planets. They then worked to understand the size and composition of each of these worlds, and that work is still continuing. But the researchers believe that the planets have large oceans, are temperate, and other conditions that could make way for alien life. Dr. Michael Gillon from the Star Institute of the University of Liège in Belgium said, "This is an amazing planetary system, not only because we have found so many planets, but because they are all surprisingly similar in size to our Earth. If a person were on one of the planets, everything would look a lot darker than usual," the scientist said. "The amount of light heading to your eyes would be about 200 times less than you get from the sun, and would be comparable to what you can see at one of our sunsets. Despite that relative darkness, everything would still feel warm," the researcher said. And that's because roughly the same amount of energy would be coming from the star as warms our Earth, but it does so infrared. Now, because the star is so dim in relative terms, all of the planets are warmed enough to sit in the temperate zone. That's despite the fact that they are all so close to it. Each of them sitting near the star, nearer to the star than our Mercury. Mercury, as we know, is the first planet, one of the inner planets, the first one close to the sun, our sun. So each of them sitting nearer to the star than Mercury, the planet in our solar system that orbits closest to the sun. The spectacle would be beautiful, said Maury Triod, one of the scientists involved in the research. He said every now and then you'd see another planet about as big as another moon in the sky. The sun would also look about 10 times bigger than ours does from Earth, Dr. Triol said, despite the fact that it is in its fact only 8% as big. And it would be a sort of salmon pink, said Dr. Triol, who noted that the scientists initially thought it would be a deep reddish crimson, but most of that red light would be infrared and so it would be invisible. It's likely that any possible life that is on the planet would actually see this way, the scientists noted, since they would probably have evolved entirely different eyes or perhaps no eyes at all. The researchers hope that they can do more work to watch the planets and learn more about their character. They want to look in particular at the seventh planet, the outermost planet, because at the moment they are not sure how it interacts with the inner ones. NASA's Hubble telescope is already being used to search the atmospheres around the planets, and future telescopes, including the European Extremely Large Telescope and James Webb Telescope that has just been launched, may be powerful enough to detect markers of life such as oxygen in the atmospheres of these exoplanets. The first exoplanet was found in 1992, and since then astronomers have detected more than 3,500 of the worlds distributed across 2,675 star systems. About a fifth of the sun-like stars are thought to have Earth-sized planets close enough to them to support life. In all, there might be 40 billion potentially habitable worlds just sitting in our own galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, astronomers estimate. Scientists have long thought that Earth-sized planets were abundant, but the new research shows just how many of them there might be. And many of those planets might never be seen because they don't pass in front of their host star and so are not visible. It might mean that the new system is actually not at all that are out of the ordinary. Scientists expect that for each planet we find, there are as many as 100 we cannot see. And so the scientists might not actually have been lucky, but rather seen something that was not that unusual. This was by NASA on the Independent UK. It's on Blended Reality. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.